We've accomplished so much since that day. Marriage equality is now the law of the land, and people are more freer than they've ever been in their lives. But last year, in November, our landscape changed dramatically. So today, I'd like you to meet our timer, Ms. Jasmine. Can you please raise your hand back there in the back? We thank you so much for being here. Each person will be given a specific time to make their statements or answer questions. When the timer holds up one hand, it means you have 1 minute left. If a timer holds up both hands, that means stop. All right, and now let's meet also one of my best friends, our American Sign Language interpreter, Mr. Justin Clayway. Let's give him a round of applause, please. Thank you for being here tonight. We thank all of you for being here tonight, especially our panelists. First, we have Nicole Tanner from the Georgia NAACP branch. Thank you for being here. Cecilia Rude, our Vice President of Colgate Pride. Thank you so much. Rob Woods, Field Director for Georgia Equality. And Harry Underwood, Political Advisor and Editor of the Pink Beach News. Let's give a big hand for all of our panelists today. I will call each person up to the stage at a time and let them speak, because there's only one question. Each panelist will be given up to 7 minutes to answer the question. And we ask that all applause be held till the end of their statements. Each panelist has answered, after each panelist has answered the question, we will then open the floor up to discussion and further questions for our panelists and anyone in here. Our main goal tonight with this unique format is to hear each and every person's concerns and address them. Let us begin. The American landscape has changed, and many people are left wondering, where do we go from here? They're left with so many questions, fears, concerns, and more. A depression is sweeping through this country amongst LGBT citizens and others, and growing stronger with each passing day. After so many accomplishments in human rights and equality were fought for and won with just a brief span of time, LGBT Americans now feel hopeless and powerless with these uncertain times we face, which makes us reflect and ponder every day, where do we stand in America? With core issues like transgender rights, adoption, marriage equality, and religious freedoms, the time has come for our LGBT citizens, our allies, and our leadership to stand together, united. We may face an uncertain future, but we are stronger as one. We are unstoppable when we are united, and together we are the solution. We ask now each panelist to express their views, worries, concerns, and fears they see, and furthermore, ask that person to share their own personal view regarding an uncertain future and what we might can do together to prevent our worries and fears from becoming a reality. I'd like to call to the stage first and foremost, Rob Woods. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Hello, people.
Hey.
Oh, come on. Hello, people.
Hello.
We're going to have some fun.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so where's my timer? So I want to make sure, no shooting, okay? Let me know. Okay, so real quick, what Jeremy just described is a real thing. However, my mindset, because first of all, I am Rob Woods. I am the Senior Field Director for Georgia Equality. Georgia Equality's mission is to provide fairness, safety, and opportunity for the LGBT community and our allies throughout the entire state of Georgia. We've moved away from being just an Atlanta-based operation, and they've allowed me to do a lot of organizing around the state. Columbus, you guys have been ground one for quite some time. If you don't mind, I'm going to use a presentation in which I did in Tampa like last week, and it deals with building a movement and changing times. All is not gloom and doom. We must move forward ahead. So, if you look at the state, 2006, at that point, the legislature of Georgia had determined that marriage equality would never happen. Made a constitutional amendment, ended up making a referendum. That's why. But this is what had to happen, change. Change is simple, to shift from one to another. And that's what has been happening progressively over time. So, last year, we had a very interesting situation where a House Bill 757 ended up starting out it was the Passenger Protection Act, a religious freedom bill. It ended up becoming one of the worst types of legislation we could have. We fought back. This was part of it. This is part of taking 77,000 signatures to the governor's office. The governor eventually vetoed House Bill 757, and what he said, Georgia does not have a Human Rights Act. Therefore, he saw potential for discrimination. Of course, there are those who think that being able to utilize your religion to discriminate legally is good, apparently because you guys got huge billboards here in Columbus that says so, or had them. We also have folks that are just like you got lawmakers up there that are completely off focus. They don't want to talk about the real things. They don't want to talk about the human things, the things that bring us together. They want to provide things like this that divide us. This is an organization that assisted, and we need to be able to utilize our power as people to influence them. This is Georgia Prospers. Georgia Prospers is a separate entity with Georgia Equality, but what they do is they deal with the business community, the big corporations and the small businesses. We want small businesses in Columbus and all the other regions to start speaking up against discrimination. Georgia Unites Against Discrimination. There's like 17 organizations that we come together and we fight a fight, and Columbus has been a big part of making that happen. This is my trustee team. Everybody go cheese? Click. Okay, next. All right, so now, this year, when we had to fight, we were anticipating religious freedom legislation. It wasn't happening. And this is why, because now you got articles being written where Georgia Equality works to make laws reflect public attitudes. It's not Georgia Equality. It's the public changing. And it's something that no matter how much legislation, how many court cases we have, that's not going to solve it. It's going to take time. But as long as we continue to move forward and don't be afraid, we will get there. And this is what has happened this last legislative session. Every religious bill that came up didn't make it. Even the governor said he didn't have a stomach to deal with religious freedom stuff. But still, there was one tragedy. There was an adoption bill. It was the last piece of legislation before Sinai died. And it was a very good bill. Our foster care program is full. And what is happening there is a certain faction that wants to be able to not penalize these adoption agencies for discriminating against LGBT couples that want to adopt. But other than that, we claimed a victory, no RFRA bills. We didn't go to Disney World. We went to medieval times. So, where do we need to go? We need to look at intersectional issues. Go beyond the scope of ourselves. Work on things that we have in common. Here's what has happened in the legislature. Now, because we didn't have to battle with as many RFRA pieces of legislation, we were able to go proactively in describing the need for comprehensive civil rights in Georgia. One of the best things that happened was over here. The chairman of the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus, Senator Lester Jackson out of Savannah, he introduced legislation that was inclusive of gender identity and sexual orientation, which he hadn't consulted with us at first, which is a good thing, because that tells you attitudes are changing. Like that.
Yeah, forward.
We also had two more pieces of legislation that were introduced. Senator Jackson bill was Senate Bill 119. State Representative Stacey Evans, she introduced House Bill 488, which essentially was a companion bill that said the same thing. It modified the classes which you could not be discriminated against and extended to sexual orientation, gender identity. So this is what we need to do. Power map. Next. This is predominantly the LGBT community throughout Georgia.
Wow.
If you notice, there are allies throughout the state. So we have to think as a state, not just an individual market. These are some of the great things that we were able to do, traveling the state, interacting with folks. But there's more to be done. One of the areas, HIV and AIDS advocacy work. We want to work with each market in doing that. This is how the HIV and AIDS epidemic is in Georgia. The darker the red, the worse it is. Here you go, Columbus. We also have a trans inclusion organizer, Chanel Haley. These are the issues that she works on, transgender visibility, messaging, sexual violence, and harm reduction, and so forth. Okay, and I'm gonna not make it. But thank you. Okay, so one of the things that makes Georgia unique is because of our interracial mix. Georgia ranks third nationally. Go to the next slide. Georgia ranks third nationally for individual African American LGBT persons, as well as African American households. So top counties. Fourth in the nation, Fulton County ranks 10th, DeKalb County ranks 7th, Clayton County ranks 4th. It's going to continue to grow, but we need to be able to leverage these relationships. This is something else that is exciting that has been happening. Areas like Bibb County, which had no organization, hardly just some students who had heart and they wanted to fight back. They've been able to convince their local commissioners to pass an ordinance that would not discriminate on the basis for employment on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. And there'll be a second vote on it next week. This is something with the Municipal Equality Index score that Columbus has that needs to rise. We would also like to see this type of legislation passed through.
Thank you very much, Rob. You do a wonderful job. He's brought Atlanta and us closer, and I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Let's go on to our next person. I'm going to invite to the stage Nicole Tanner of the NAACP. Come on up, baby. Let's give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.